Hey there, and welcome back to another Miraculous Ladybug Season 5 review. And today we're going to be talking about the episode Transmission, which makes up the first part of the two-part Kwame's Choice storyline. Now, usually these two-part episodes where we get a lot of big plot developments and drama. And I think this episode is going to be no exception to that. There's a lot of big moments in this one, and it's been a little bit divisive, but I think for the most part, much like the rest of Season 5, it was still pretty good. So yeah, with all that being said, let's jump into the episode. So we start off the episode witnessing the aftermath of the episode Elation, where Cat Noir rejected Marinette as he didn't want to be taking advantage of her. And this in turn resulted in her nearly getting akumatized and being very upset at herself and her situation. And of course, because of this, Marinette's not doing too well. She's alone in the dark in her room, her mum comes to check on her, and she even lets her take the day off whilst her dad goes to bake her something special to try and cheer her up. Man, these are some truly wholesome and kind parents. So many films and TV shows, they always fall into the trap of the main character sort of being the ugly duckling. They don't really fit in with their family and aren't treated right. But here, Marinette's parents are pretty much always super kind and supportive, and it's very refreshing writing. Anyway, she's taken down all her photos of Adrien and just lays in her bed all sad and depressed. And you know what? Fair enough. She really is in need of a mental health day in my opinion. Although, she's really sad at the moment, right? So why is it that Gabe isn't sending out an Akuma as we speak? I mean, she surely must be giving off some major negative vibes, right? Right? Is this just some blatant plot armor? Honestly, it's probably one of the show's weaker points. It always seems weird when your hero's upset and then nothing happens. And yet other lesser characters can stub their toe and they get turned into a demonic villain bent on revenge. Like, it's not like it's show ruining or anything like that, but it is a bit frustrating. But moving on, Marinette continues to be quite upset, telling Tiki that she's a failure, that she's crashed and burned romantically with 3 different people. Well, technically 2, but she doesn't know that yet. And she thinks that overall, she's been a pretty terrible Miraculous wielder. Anyway, Tiki then tries to give her some tough love, but it doesn't really work out all that well for her. Telling somebody who's deeply upset to just get over it. Apparently that doesn't work. Who knew, am I right? Tiki, you're like 2,000 years old, get with the program. And at this point, Alia then tries to call, and Marinette doesn't pick up because she doesn't want her to catch her weakness. And then Adrien calls, and he also heads straight to voicemail. And it's at this point that we move on to see all her friends in class all worrying about her because she's not answering her phone. Chloe laughs about how this reminds her of the good old days when Marinette had to ask her permission to come to class, which is like, God damn it, this school legit sucks. They ever going to do something about this horrendous bully? Also, Miss Bustier, pull your head in. Imagine sending homework home with another student to be given to somebody who's not attending class that day. I doubt this is some big assignment, so just leave her be. She's obviously not doing too well, stupid teacher. Unless, tinfoil hat time, the teacher is trying to get involved in wingmanning Adrien, in which case, bit weird, but you do you. Alia then gets Adrien to take the homework back to Marinette and sets up the major plot thread of the episode, which is premium angst. As he travels over to her house, Adrien thinks about how she probably is brokenhearted about being rejected by Cat Noir, which of course makes Adrien feel quite guilty, but not to worry, because he's here ready to make things right. So he makes his way into the bakery and is led into her room, which, I don't know about this. I feel like letting an unexpected guest into your kid's room when they're all depressed is a bit of a parenting no-no, Sabine, but sure. Anyway, Adrien talks to Marinette and listens to her vent about how nobody knows the true her and then commiserates with her as he feels the same about himself. But he thinks that if they get to know one another, they won't feel so alone. And meanwhile, Plagg and Tiki are freaking out because they're worried the secret's about to come out. And that because of that, everything's going to get massively messy. Of course, Marinette says, no thanks, my life's too complicated, and so I'm going to have to live my whole life with no love. And you know, getting a bit dramatic here, Marinette, I think. And so he tries to reason with her, telling her that she can trust him with anything, and that he'll always be her friend. And it's at this point that the Kwames knock over the trash bin, and he sees all the photos and magazines she had of him, and he doesn't immediately run away, because he is apparently insane. I mean, who sees that kind of stuff and says, oh yeah, this is really romantic? But there's no time to think about that, because then Marinette starts the pity party once again. Adrien then gets mad, he says he loves her no matter what, to which she tells him that she doesn't love him back, and he acts all hurt and shocked. Like, what are you doing, man? Last episode, she literally told Cat Noir the exact thing, that she doesn't love Adrien anymore. And then right now, in this moment, in the bin, you can see those photos of you. Read the room, son. Wrinkle that smooth brain of yours, please, I'm begging ya. We then cut over to the school where Zoe's tried to get in contact with Marinette and failed, and looks a bit upset about that too. And she walks into the art room where her friends are having a full-blown rager celebrating Adrien and Marinette. Like, what school is this? Where are the teachers? How is this happening? Is this not on school time? And if not, why are they even hanging around at the school still? How is this allowed? So Zoe goes up to Alia to ask about Marinette's voicemail. And I didn't think about this, but what? How extra is this girl? Are you telling me that she fully changed her outgoing message just to show off how sad she is? Really? Only to go on to reject people when they come to try and make her feel better. Honestly, she's feeling like a bit of an attention seeker here. You know, like on social media when somebody posts some shit like, I'm feeling low. And then when people comment or message them and ask if they're okay, they answer with shit like, oh, no, it's nothing. You wouldn't understand. And it's like, okay, why post then? Stop filling up my feed. And it's the same sort of thing here. Although I feel like it's even worse because there's even more effort to change your voicemail than it is to post. So, it's weird, it's cringe, stop it. But anyway, back to that strange class party. Alia and Nino brag about sending Adrien over to see Marinette to make her feel better, which seems to piss off Zoe. Drama on the horizon, methinks. And then the whole class very much just jumps the gun, assuming that 100% Adrien and Marinette are going to be a couple when they come out of that room. Honestly, I want what they're smoking. I mean, sure, based on later episodes, it does actually play out like that, and they are right. But their whole dynamic for the entire run of the show has been Marinette crashing and burning at every opportunity. How could they possibly think that she's going to be able to succeed here? These people are in denial, smoking some hard copium. Nora then calls Alia, and so her and Nino scoot off, whilst Zoe continues to brood, before we cut back to Marinette and Adrien, where, it's not going too well. Why hasn't he just straight up left after that, though? Why is he sitting there? How do you recover from that level of rejection? Don't sit there sulking, mate. Go home. Have some self-worth, some pride. God! And so, he leaves. It's all sad, dramatic. He starts breaking down the street, and Gabe, he fires up those butterfly powers, only to stop when he sees that it's Adrien who's upset. That's actually a bit wholesome. At least he cares. And speaking of which, the Kwamis have a little bit of a team meeting where Plagg makes the executive decision that they have to free their users of the responsibility of being miraculous wielders, which, I guess that's where we get the episode title from. And all the while, the class is still celebrating. Because apparently it's been 9 months and 12 days since Adrien came to the school. And it's like, hold up, what? All of this has happened in such a short amount of time. In season 1, we have a Christmas and Valentine's Day. And Valentine's Day, I believe, is in February. In season 3, I swear they went on summer break. Am I misremembering? Am I hallucinating this? This happened, right? And also, didn't season 4 have King's Day? Isn't that Epiphany? Isn't that on January 6th? Therefore, before Valentine's Day, which happened in season 1, and that's in February. And doesn't class start in September? So if it's been 9 months, it's currently June? What's going on with this timeline? Also, didn't Gabe say in an episode last season that he's been akumatizing people for like 100 weeks or something like that? So like 2 years? 9 months? This timeline is so wonky, I'm so confused. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. But are you actually telling me it's been the same school year the whole way through? That it's only June now? This is bonkers. Anyway, our heroes are both crying, and so Chad-based supermum Natalie answers Adrien's phone for him and tells Nino that Adrien's feeling a little bit tired, so he went home. I'm loving this new mother-son bond they've got. I really hope she doesn't die. Wholesome Papa Gabe then comes in and tells Adrien that he isn't mad at him for skipping school. And wait, hold on. Is school still on? Come on. And they're just openly having a party in the art room. Come on, where's the principal at? Well, at least I can respect the bravery of actually doing that during the school day. But anyway, back to the story, and I spoke too soon because it turns out Gabe is just such a piece of shit after all. As instead of caring about his son, even a little bit, turns out he just wanted to give him an alliance ring to give him powers when he's akumatized. Seriously, what an absolute prick. I actually feel personally betrayed by this shit, I tells ya. I was fooled. Bamboozled. Gabe. The Kwamis then go into Marinette and Adrien's bedrooms, and pretty much give them a pat on the head and tell them that they're no longer needed to be the wielders of the Miraculouses, as it's crushing their lives. And so our heroes renounce the Miraculouses, give back the jewels, and the Kwamis leave. You know, all emotional, it's implied they're never going to see them again, etc, etc. And that's fine, although it was a bit weird that the heroes seemed so happy literally seconds later. So, bit rough if you're the Kwami. And then also, isn't Marinette the guardian of the box? So, isn't it kind of in the rules for her to know who the wielders are anyway? So that really shouldn't be goodbye, because if she's no longer the guardian, and therefore a permanent goodbye, doesn't her memory get reset like Master Fu? Am I missing something here? Is this not the case anymore? I'm confused! But yeah, Gabe then sends out his Akuma, but it turns out Adrian's no longer sad enough. He just said goodbye to one of his best friends, and he doesn't seem to care. He was more cut up about being rejected by the girl he likes. Disappointing, Adrian. But anyway, Gabe has to refocus, and he sends it out to some random boxer guy who, for some reason, has bought 5 Alliance rings. And what could you possibly need that many for? How much do you reckon they cost? Surely as much as a phone, right? Probably more? I mean, they do everything. This dude has to be loaded. Or is majorly in debt. Regardless, it lets Gabe give out 5 powers, so you'd expect this dude's gonna be pretty much invincible. Spoiler alert, he was not invincible. Bad luck, Gabe. This was literally his best attempt in ages. He gets a massively overpowered villain, and 2 newbies to contend with, and yet he still loses. Ooh, dude, sucks to suck. Anyway, Adrian runs back to Marinette's place to give her the homework, and they make up with each other. And honestly, from his perspective, this has got to be all pure luck. Like, him being Cat Noir was not what was holding back his life. It was literally all because she was Ladybug and couldn't handle it. So he was very likely running to another rejection. He didn't know why she was depressed. And as far as he knows, she doesn't even love Adrian anymore. So this was just a gamble, a foolish gamble. I feel like Plagg didn't even need to give him up, right? Tika could have just done that. Oh well. Anyway, they had a cute little scene where they make it clear that they still have feelings for one another and they want to spend more time together. And this whole scene is very adorable. I enjoyed it quite a lot. And yet, whilst this wholesome's going on, their friends are currently in a war council / crisis meeting thinking up their latest scheme to fix things. And I'll say this. Say what you want about the strange lack of boundaries that this class has, but they are ride or die for their friends, I tell you what. You'd want them in your corner. And then after this, Tiki and Plagg choose their new holders. Zoe, who's definitely not on board the Adrianette ship as of yet, is chosen by Plagg, and Alia, who Tiki already knows and trusts, is chosen by Tiki. And of course, Alia is not going to tell Nino this time, as it means that Marinette's going to get to live out her true love story. Based, Alia. Based. Back at the bakery, Marinette and Adrian are busy being cute when they hear the rumbling of our Kumatai's villain. So they go out on the balcony, and they watch the battle on their phone. As Scarabella and... Did Zoe have a name? Is it Kitty Noir? I've seen that tossed around, and yeah, that is a shit name. And her costume? What even is that? Who the hell saw this concept art and said, oh yeah, let's do that. Looks great, greenlit. It's like they said, let's take Cat Noir and let's make his costume look bad, really bad. And then they just called it a day. Pretty glad she's a limited time deal. Anyway, they battle the dude for a bit, but they can't really do anything because he has so many powers. Good action sequences though. Really enjoyable, dynamic, fun, stock standard stuff. And then they defeat him with the power of arts and crafts. Yep, they dump a massive paint bomb on his head to ensure that he has to take down his shield, and then they break his mouth guard. They de-akumatize him, fix everything, you know how it goes. And yeah, some more Adrianette fluff to end the episode, and it's a happy ending. Well, except for Gabe, who literally gets cheated out of the easiest possible win in history. A villain with 5 power-ups. 5 power-ups against a completely fresh duo, and he gets schooled. Oh! Just let the cataclysm take you away at this point, mate. Just return to the dust from which you came. You've got nothing left. Also, imagine if they kept Zoe and Alia as the main heroes in the show for a surprise twist. Like, that's one way to ruin the show, but still, it would be funny. And I know they don't. After all, we've seen the later episodes, but still, I think it would have been interesting to have a little bit of a longer arc where they're the heroes, and Adrian and Marinette slowly realise that they weren't ready to give it up. I mean, it's not what's going to happen, but I think more than 2 episodes would have been fun, but of course they would have also run the risk of it getting old really quickly if I'm being fair about it. But regardless, it was a good episode, maybe a bit too melodramatic at the start, but it was still fun. And I do love the alternate hero episodes. They always feel fresh and exciting. And so yeah, that's the end of the video. And I would like to say that these have just been my opinions, and now I'd like to hear yours. What did you think of the episode? You like it? Hate it? I'm curious for your thoughts, so make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and let me know.